Good Monday morning. Glad to be with you, talking to you about you and your business. And as always, we have so much to talk about. It's not like the news cycle ever ends. It goes on and on and on. And unfortunately, sometimes the news doesn't even talk about some of the most important stories. But I try to do that every day on this program, and particularly when I get to spend time with Steve Beaman. Steve Beaman is with the Society for the Advancement of Financial Education, as am I, heading up the Texas efforts, working with Jeremy Kitchen and others as we grow that operation here in the great Lone Star State. We got Steve Beaman coming here very shortly, and for a couple of events. And we're gonna make those real wingdings of events. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of fun at those events. We're going to invite people to come with some of their testimony, some of their story, and we'll be sharing some of that on the radio in the days following that event. And so if you got, an opinion on different issues, you're going to want to come to some of these meetings we're going to be doing with several Patriot and Tea Party organizations. And so make sure you check that out, and we're going to keep you posted. And so, and now, by the way, Steve, it looks like they're moving it to the second week of August because we want maximum promotion time is what we're looking at. And they gave me a tentative date of the second Tuesday in August. And so I want to nail that down by the end of the day, and we're going to be rocking with that date and get maximum crowd for that.
Okay, well, Kevin, that's very exciting, and I am so excited to come down there and meet with you and all the Patriots down in Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get started, like we always do, solving all the world's problems very eloquently, I might add, why don't you kind of give us a summary of what the society is all about?
Well, as we talk each week, we're all about empowering Americans with the knowledge they need to build more and better prosperous lives, and we work with businesses to help them build better businesses with cash flow issues. Everything from understanding financial statements to understanding how to get financing, understanding how to produce better cash receivables and everything else. So the society is all about Americans building better lives, and through that we hope to change and move the dial in America.
Yeah, and I would say some of our key words include empowerment, I think education, obviously. This is the idea of taking action and not merely being a victim, which seems to be so pervasive in our culture today.
Kevin, you just hit the key. The fact of the matter is we all sit around and we hear people complain about the situations in our nation. We hear people complain about the tough economy. But the society is about fixing that. It's about providing tools and resources to people to really give them a leg up and to know where to go. We believe people should pick them up by their own bootstraps, but in order to get there, you sometimes have to give them their own bootstrap to do that.
Let me ask you, let's talk now about some of the news that's out there. I'm sure you heard about this poison that's been sent to Bloomberg, apparently Barack Obama, several others who are associated one way or with the others about, what is it called, Mayors Against Guns or whatever that group is?
Yeah, Kevin, I read about that like you did, and as you and any patriotic American is, I'm disturbed by somebody going to that length to create those problems. That is an extraordinarily dangerous poison, and we've now seen it released at the White House in letters and in New York with letters. And so this is something I hope they get to the bottom with, and the idea of people who are pro-gun, which I am, pro-Second Amendment rights, going to that level I think is a dangerous thing, and it's unhealthy. And it's going to be used by the left very clearly to forward their agenda.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I'm concerned. I'm getting so cynical. Who's ever doing this is some real nut job. He's not your typical conservative or whatever. And I'm getting so cynical that I wouldn't be surprised if the left does something like this in order to make a case of putting more control on the right.
Kevin, you and me are both getting cynical, and I think that gets back to the heart of why we're trying to help. The cynicism against government is growing so rapidly with that type of thing. We've got the IRS now targeting folks. We've got Eric Holder directly lying about the media issues. So Americans are becoming so cynical. We're stepping out to say, look, help us help you. We want to build a better life for you, and we've got the tools to do it.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it's getting to the point. I think of the, 1933 when the Parliament building got burnt in Germany, and of course the Nazis did it, but they blamed the communists. I mean,
right.
I could almost see it happen in this, in our bizarre culture today.
Well, we know that the governments in history have been engaged in what are known as false flag events, and we know that governments are capable of doing pretty nasty things. So don't put it, kind of beside anybody. They're capable of it. Let's just hope it's not the case.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the 2016 election. I mean, come on, it is only, it's already 2013.
Kevin, what's interesting is we used to live in a world where there was an election and then it was quiet for 3 years and then you had the next election.
Yeah.
We now live in a situation where it's so important. Washington has become such a power base for the economy that these elections matter. And we've got the 14 elections, which as a result of the IRS scandal, I think will go very pro-Republican. And then we've got 16, which will line up, I think, a whole new crew of Republicans because you're going to have such a dynamic movement on the 14 election.
Yeah. Do you know who you're pretty politically astute, but do you know who historians attribute to the change, to elections becoming so early? Do you know who changed it all?
No.
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter started campaigning almost a year earlier than anyone historically had ever begun campaigning.
Kevin, you're not supposed to make me laugh on a Monday morning.
He's the one who changed it, and ever since then, they've gotten earlier and earlier. When he first started, they said, that guy's nuts. He's campaigning almost a year earlier than they normally campaign. And guess what? He changed everything.
Takes a peanut farmer a little longer to get his message out.
Yeah, especially if he's a nut job like Jimmy Carter. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about 2016 article in MSNBC. So look at it with caution, obviously. But Hillary Clinton continues to lead the 2016 field for Democrats. Polls show her beating Jeb Bush 48 to 40%, and Rand Paul 49 to 41%. But some of the sheen is already starting to come off Clinton's favorability rating. She gets from
Hillary Clinton is a lightning rod for negativism, almost as much as Rush Limbaugh is on the right. The fact of the matter is I don't think Hillary will pull it off. I think the negatives greatly overwhelm her when it comes to a national election. So I think the Democrats will be looking for an alternative to Hillary. There's been, rumor of a Michelle Hillary ticket, or I should say a Hillary Michelle ticket. I think that's a fantasy that won't come about. I think we're going to see new blood come out in the 2016 thing, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure anybody really captures the imagination of the American people.
Yeah, they sure captured my nightmares. But yeah, absolutely. Joe Biden ranks rather high of people that are seriously considered. But Joe Biden, come on.
He's a certifiable idiot, so let's hope he doesn't get serious consideration.
Yeah, he right now, fairly high ratings. Who do you like among the Republican lot?
I'm hoping Rand Paul gets a big voice, although I don't think he'll pull it off. You've got Cruz, obviously, in Texas, and you've got Marco Rubio thinking about it, but there's questions about him. I don't know, Kevin. We're so early in this game. We've talked about Scott Walker up in Wisconsin. There are a lot of folks that are going to be vying for this. I think we're going to have to wait and see until the 14 elections to see who establishes themselves as the powerhouse in the party, who's going to raise the most money for the candidates, who will be on the stump speaking for the candidates. We'll just have to see. Right now, I think Rand Paul's carrying a lot of voice because of this IRS issue.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Talking to my good friend, Steve Beaman. He comes on every Friday to enlighten us here on The Price of Business. Stay tuned for
Monday,
more.
Kevin.
Every Monday, yes. Thank you very much. I just wanted the weekend to go on and on and on. All right. Steve Beaman. He'll be back with more right after this on The Price of Business.